Y aquí está lo prometido, ¿cierto, Bernie? Estamos con Nina Persson, in person.
In person, yes.
Yes. Claro que sí, así que vamos a comenzar nuestra entrevista para todas nuestras redes sociales y también para Play FM, por supuesto. Nina, well, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good. I like it here.
How did it feel to to be a leading woman in front of a mainstream band in the 90s? You know, I'm asking you because in 90s, being a woman was even more difficult than today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was well, obviously. It was. I've had a really great time all through, and I've realized, especially now the last few years with the Me Too and everything, I realize how protected I've been because I've been with such a great band. That the guys in my band are really good men.
Guys.
They're good guys.
Yeah.
They're good men, and I've actually had to tell them that too. That because you hear so much, and I've seen so much bullshit
and
too.
it's important to appreciate that,
Yeah.
and to tell them.
Yeah,
Actually.
and also so thanks to them it was fine, but it was a bummer that I had so few. There was only like very limited amounts of kinds of women in music you could be, and you always had to be sort of labeled into one or the other little pocket, and I didn't really have a pocket to fit into, so it was weird. It was confusing. It was hard to find your identity if you didn't feel like you were balls. I don't think anybody was ballsy enough to just be like, this is what I'm going to be, and it's going to be super cool. It was like either you were super cute and saying yes to everything and being like a pleaser, or you were like a super, playing guitar and being super angry, and there was nothing in between. You were not, really allowed to be a complex person. So it was, I've loved my life and my career, but it was challenging sometimes. And I never really aimed at being a star or anything. So for me, it was also like, what am I doing? What is this, life?
And what do you think about it now, like with all the feminist movement and all the marches and walks? I don't know.
Yeah.
The walks or the
Yeah,
manifestations?
the rallies, the marches,
rallies,
exactly. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's amazing. And very inspiring that it's happening. But as amazing as it is, I still think that it's almost like there's 2 steps forwards and 1 step back still. And there are weird things happening in the world now that if we don't watch out, things might be starting to be limited again, which is really
So we
messed
can
up.
have to go.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we have to be pretty loud for another while. Like you can take nothing for granted, considering what's happening in the US with Trump. And it's starting, yes, and it's starting to be wonderfully mainstream, which I think is great.
And in the world music, because the world music used to be very macho. Too.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And today, what significant advances have you seen?
Well, I've seen, when it comes to advances, I just think it's so much fun to see so many really cool artists that coming up that are women. There's more of them, and they're just more independent. And I personally actually do think that the best music is made by women, because they didn't all start out with a boring guitar. They start with fantastic like electronic music, and they're just there's not this. They don't have to go through these phases of being like crooning with a guitar. They start at a much more interesting artistic level, I think, often. And they're really. I sort of. I have this obsession with younger female artists in a way that I feel a little jealous of them, and I want to hang out with them. And, I just think they're super cool.
Like them.
No, but there's so many. There's also a lot of women who are not necessarily musicians, but like journalists and writers and all kinds. But there's such a fucking cool generations coming up.
And I guess
like outspoken at last.
Yes, outspoken and just sort of relaxed in a way also, because you could be outspoken in the 90s too, but then you were like, there was no natural way of expressing things. There was fear, exactly, yeah. So I think it's just a nice climate. I'm happy for them, and I wish I could, if I would much rather, in a way, be like a successful pop star woman now than back in the 90s, but.
And well, I know you're not planning on like doing another album because Peter Svensson is not here, and I know he's like a key part of the composition. But have you ever thought of collaborating with some new artists that you like all these women that you're interested in?
Oh yeah, I've been doing that, as personally and as a camp. But the Cardigans probably would not. We've talked about it. We, as a band, we feel like, and what we have is what the five of us are. And if we were to collaborate, then we might as well start a new band, I feel like, because we have the skills of writing, but it wouldn't be Cardigan's music. But I've been doing some, and I love that. I did recently a project in Malmö, which was a sort of a theater, or like a political cabaret that had a lot of younger female artists involved in it,
and
which
it was like
super
really
fun.
politically driven, right?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't really colored by a party, but the subject matter was democracy, pretty much. Well, there was an election last year in Sweden. So.
You know, I know you're a mom, and I want to ask you if how motherhood has changed your way to compose music or to create anything. Because I'm mom too, so I guess that I think that being a mom, it's like so about creation and intuition.
Well, it has. When it comes to writing music, I haven't written anything, but I hardly did before. I write with people, so obviously I haven't made any records. But
you did like Animal Heart, right?
That's true.
2014.
Oh, yes, that's true. Right, I forgot about that record. I did, and that worked. I actually had my kid. My kid was small then, so I did the record with my husband, and my kid came along, so that worked. And I find it. I didn't know beforehand what to expect, because I have some friends who are artists who get kids, and they bring their kids on every single tour. I realized that I can't do that. I get too split if I would have my kid around. So he's not been coming along. But I do find that I've been more creative in ways that does not have to do with my profession. So I took up pottery when I had my kids. I have a pottery workshop now, and for example. So that's one kind of creativity that was unleashed when I had a kid instead. But that's also because I suddenly had a life. You see what I mean? Before I had a kid, there was no point for me to have any hobby whatsoever, because I didn't have the time, and I traveled all the time. But now I do. I actually have a life now, I like life.
And what sort of pottery do you do? Like,
I do all kind of hand build things, and I do throwing, and we have the kiln there, and all kinds of stuff. Stoneware mostly.
super cool.
Yeah.
And how was it to, because I know you're singing like from the last 4 records, right? When you started writing the songs. How was it to go from just singing to writing, and how did that feel? Like for you on stage?
It actually felt necessary, and I did start to write just like a little bit, just because I happened to like it and it was good what I made. But there was even a point when I had to be telling the band, like, I'm really sorry, but from now on I'm going to have to write everything, or I can't be in the band, because it would come to a situation where I had to do all the press. And and I had to sort of talk about Magnus's lyrics, and I was like, I have no fucking idea what he's talking about. So I was like, I'm sorry, apparently we can't change the fact that I'm going to have to do all the interviews, and that's okay with me, but then I will have to be the one who sort of created what I get to talk about. So this is the deal.
And to interpret it, like on stage, it's a totally different feeling, right?
That too, to also feel the real motivation,
Exactly.
Because I felt like I'm happy to sing like covers and sing other people's songs. I love that too. But in the long run, since Cardigans became our lives, I had to feel like I filled up the shoes I was in, sort of. So it felt great, but it was also a little difficult, because I did feel a little bit like an asshole, actually. I had to be like, sorry, move over. And that was weird at that time. But
did they understand that? Like,
they pretty much had to, I think. They did. Yes, they did understand. Yes, they did a little bit. Because I was sort of saying, like, otherwise this will be too difficult for me. And I feel like it's pointless. Yes, so, and I feel like it's too pointless to do this kind. I'm not in this job to just
be a pretty face.
Be a
Nina,
famous.
What's going to happen with your ACAM project?
I don't
which
know.
we love.
We love it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love it too. I don't know.
You're going to take it back?
I would maybe. Just like with everything that I don't know really, but the guy, camp was me basically, but also from the beginning this guy Nicholas. and also later on my husband. And I've just started to.
It's like it's all in the family, so
It is,
your
yeah.
kid maybe.
Yeah, and my,
join.
oh no, God, he's
No,
got such
no,
bad
no,
taste
no,
in music. I would never want to.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What kind of music is
Oh, he listens to this a weird new genre that kids like. That's
like
short
trap?
rock.
No.
Oh, it's
thanks
so
God.
bad. It's just it's sort of really smart music because it's created for kids and for kids' parents, and it's like suits everybody sort of. I don't want to mention names because I don't like to bash other bands, but it's so weird.
Okay.
So no.
I read that your kid actually showed you like this cool rapper, like Swedish rapper, Silvana.
Oh, Silvana
Imam.
Imam. No, he didn't actually. He
No,
likes it.
cool.
No, her I actually found myself. She's
you do?
really good. Yeah. No, but he has
Yeah, I've heard it,
some
yeah.
music that he's brought up in our home has been really good, and I'm happy because he brings in real pop music to our house, and I think that's really fun.
And what are you listening right now? Like what record inspires you?
I don't really. I'm not a huge consumer of music these days. But the friend that I have my pottery studio together with, she's got great taste in music, and
Oh,
she's
really?
brought. She's
shows you.
yeah. She brings in music, and now lately she's been playing. She always puts on Sissa, which is really good. I like that a lot. That's one example of good things. No, but I was going to say with the camp that I've just recently. Niklas had a kid too, so we've just had a natural sort of time when you're focusing on different
You need to
things.
sleep.
Yeah, but I just recently got a big urge to call him and to see him and to sort of, and when we hang out it becomes music eventually, so I'm not closing any doors. I'm just sort of slow and lazy. It takes me 10 years to recover from things and to start up new.
I think I'm a musician as well.
Yeah.
So I think music just has to come naturally. you
Exactly,
know?
yeah.
It doesn't. It shouldn't be forced. It feels forced.
I think with some people it can. Some people have that skill to just be like, at 8 o'clock they start, and then they're done at 4, and then it becomes good still. It's just, I think that it's because I never chose this really. It's not a natural
Maybe it's not your
thing
taste.
for me. Yeah, pottery. I mean, sort of handcrafty things are more my natural habitats.
Well, in 2015 we did a great show of cardigans. We were there.
Yeah.
With the most powerful and exciting moments.
I was there. I loved it.
In a more massive
the festival. The festival,
yeah. Fauna Primavera, you know. And well, this Friday it's going to be more intimate. So how can we expect about that new show of cardigans here in Chile?
Well, it's funny. Everybody keeps talking about that show to be a small, intimate venue, but it's 2,000 capacity, right?
Yeah, but
that's big to me.
But
so
we
it's,
like that because we can see you more.
it's much smaller than the festival. It's nice because it's sort of
it's
when
much
it is indoors, you see more of the audience faces. You get more of like a connection, sort of.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and you can even hear what they say and stuff. So that's one thing.
Actually.
Is it nice? Yeah, I've just seen them.
So good.
Good from any angle, and it sounds great from.
Oh, I'm
any
glad.
angle.
Yeah,
Exactly.
good.
And you're going to be playing on Concepcion now.
I know. Yes,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Concepcion is a very musical city.
That's what I hear. That somebody said it's the Manchester of Chile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They say Conchester, like
So
Concepcion
it's
of
a thing.
Manchester.
Oh, that's so lit, yeah. But it's I'm looking forward to that. That'll be really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nina, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes,
today.
we're gonna see you on Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
keep
that's
losing
tomorrow.
the days,
Yeah,
but I know tomorrow something special happens. So that's the show. Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to love the south of Chile. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. Everybody also says that it's going to be so cold, and I'm like, you have not been to Sweden.
But
Don't even.
no, exactly.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
You too.
Así terminamos nuestra entrevista a Nina Persson. Disfrútenla todo lo que quieran.